Imagine a system where you could donate millions, even billions, to a political party anonymously. Sounds like a plot from a political thriller, right? But it's not. It's the startling reality of electoral bonds in India. Let's delve a bit deeper into this. Electoral bonds, quite simply, are akin to promissory notes. But these aren't your everyday IOUs. They're issued and sold by a powerhouse of Indian finance, the State Bank of India, and they carry more than just monetary value. With these bonds, anyone can make a donation to any political party of their choice. And here's the kicker: the identity of the donor remains undisclosed. You heard that right. Anonymous donations, in the millions, even billions, flowing into the coffers of political parties. This isn't a tale from a cloak and dagger novel. This is the stark reality of electoral bonds. In essence, electoral bonds are a legal way to make anonymous donations to political parties. So you might be wondering, how do electoral bonds work? Well, let's dive right in and decode this intriguing concept. Imagine you're a well-off individual or the head of a corporation and you want to support a political party that aligns with your beliefs. But you want to do so without revealing your identity. That's where electoral bonds come into play. They are like promissory notes, a type of financial instrument, but with a twist. You can purchase these bonds from specified branches of the State Bank of India during certain periods of the year. These bonds are available in multiples of 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, and 1 crore rupees. So you can contribute as per your capacity and inclination. Now here's the catch. You cannot cash these bonds yourself. They are made payable to the bearer, which means whoever holds the bond can claim the money. But only registered political parties can cash these bonds. The procedure is simple. You buy the bond and give it to the party of your choice. They can then deposit it in their verified account within 15 days of issuance. The bank, acting as the mediator, transfers the funds from your account to the party's account. All this happens without revealing your identity to the public or the party. Now you might ask, why the anonymity? Well, it's designed to protect donors from any potential repercussions that might arise from their political affiliations. It's a way to ensure that the democratic process is not influenced by fear or favor. However, this very feature of anonymity has been the subject of much debate and controversy. Critics argue that it could lead to corruption, with parties favoring those who donate generously. But that's a topic for another time. In a nutshell, electoral bonds serve as a channel for funding political parties, with the veil of anonymity attached. They have certainly sparked a lively debate about transparency, accountability, and the role of money in politics. But for now, that's electoral bonds decoded. Now, let's delve into how these bonds have affected Indian politics. Ever since their introduction, electoral bonds have significantly altered the landscape of political funding in India. They've been hailed as a revolutionary step towards ensuring a cleaner, more accountable system of political donations. However, they've also faced considerable criticism. Electoral bonds, by design, allow donors to contribute to political parties anonymously. While this was intended to protect donors from potential retaliation, it's also opened up a Pandora's box of issues. The anonymity factor essentially means that anyone, including foreign entities, can potentially fund Indian political parties without a trace. This lack of transparency has led to concerns about the influence of undisclosed money in the political sphere and the potential for quid pro quo arrangements. Moreover, these bonds have significantly skewed the balance of political funding in favor of the ruling party. Reports suggest that the lion's share of the electoral bonds sold so far have ended up in the coffers of the party in power. This raises questions about the level playing field that is fundamental to a healthy democracy. On a broader level, the introduction of electoral bonds has brought the issue of political funding into sharp focus. It sparked a nationwide conversation about the need for transparency and accountability in political donations. But the opacity surrounding these bonds has only served to intensify these demands. Critics argue that without a robust mechanism to track the source of donations, these bonds could potentially be misused for money laundering. They could also be used to funnel black money into the political system, thereby defeating the very purpose they were designed to serve. In conclusion, while electoral bonds may have been introduced with the intention of cleaning up political funding, their implementation has raised more questions than it has answered. The anonymity of donors, the potential for misuse, and the disproportionate benefit to the ruling party are all issues that need to be addressed. While the intent behind electoral bonds might be to clean up political funding, the lack of transparency is a cause for concern. Like any revolutionary idea, electoral bonds have stirred up their fair share of controversies. As we delve deeper into the world of electoral bonds, it's impossible to overlook the storm they've stirred in the political landscape. Critics argue that the system is shrouded in secrecy, offering a fertile ground for favoritism and corruption to thrive. One such controversy is the anonymity it provides to donors. This cloak of secrecy, critics argue, allows corporations and individuals to donate large sums of money to political parties under the radar. While this might protect donors from potential backlash, it also opens up a Pandora's box of potential misuse. With no public record of who's funding whom, there's a fear that policy decisions could be swayed by unseen financial backers, leading to a form of legalized corruption. Then there's the issue of favoritism. With the banking system being the intermediary, the ruling government could potentially have access to the information about the donors and the amount donated. This could lead to a bias in favor of the ruling party, as donors might be inclined to donate to the party in power to curry favor. Another bone of contention is the lack of a cap on the amount that can be donated. While this allows for greater funds to flow into the political system, it also means that the wealthy have the potential to exert undue influence over the political process. Critics argue that this could lead to a form of plutocracy where the rich hold sway over the democratic process. Lastly, the introduction of foreign funding has ruffled feathers. Critics argue that allowing foreign entities to buy electoral bonds could potentially impact national security, as it opens up avenues for foreign influence on domestic politics. The controversies surrounding electoral bonds raise questions about the balance between political funding and transparency. The debate rages on. Is the need for political funding overshadowing the need for transparency in the democratic process? Only time will tell. So what does the future hold for electoral bonds in India? That's the question everyone's asking, and the answer is as complex as the bonds themselves. In one corner, we have proponents of electoral bonds arguing that they are a necessary evil. They believe that, in a world where political funding is a reality, electoral bonds offer a way to regulate and formalize this process. By providing a legal channel for donations, they claim, electoral bonds can help curb the menace of black money in politics. On the other side, critics of electoral bonds are raising their voices, demanding more transparency and accountability. They argue that the anonymity provided by these bonds can lead to a quid pro quo situation, where donors could potentially influence policy decisions. Critics also point out that the lack of transparency can lead to an uneven playing field, where parties with deep pockets have an unfair advantage. The debate is ongoing and fierce, and it doesn't look like it's going to be resolved anytime soon. Legal challenges are being mounted, and the courts are being asked to weigh in on the matter. Various activists and non-governmental organizations are rallying for change, calling for reforms to make political funding more transparent and accountable. What's clear is that the future of electoral bonds in India is shrouded in uncertainty. There's a tug-of-war happening with the forces of transparency and accountability on one side and the realities of political funding on the other. The outcome of this battle will shape the future of political funding in India. So what's next? Will electoral bonds continue to be a part of Indian politics, or will they be phased out? Will there be more transparency, or will the status quo remain? These are questions that only time can answer. The future of electoral bonds remains uncertain as the debate between political funding and transparency rages on. So, what have we learned about electoral bonds? We've untangled the complex web of this financial instrument, designed as a way to fund political parties in India. We've explored how they're bought through designated banks and given to political parties, which can convert them into money, all anonymously. We've delved into the profound impact they've had on Indian politics. They've changed the game, opening up new avenues for funding, but also raising concerns about transparency. We've examined the controversies that follow them like shadows. Critics argue they allow for unchecked money flow into politics, potentially leading to corruption. Supporters, on the other hand, laud them as a step towards cleaner political funding. And we've gazed into the uncertain future of electoral bonds. Will they continue to be a major part of Indian politics, or will they be phased out under pressure from their detractors? While electoral bonds have revolutionized political funding, the question remains, are they a boon or a bane for Indian democracy?